I'm really bad at filming, guys, but this is just, I'm used to getting into shit, not used to telling you guys how it goes. All right, this is out of our derelict Falcon. This is the pedal assembly. And so what I've done, it was a manual, so I had 3 pedals, no man pedal, we're going automatic. This is the automatic, this is the brake pedal. So we will turn this into an automatic pedal. We'll kick that out a bit and make this a bit larger, just as traditionally automatic pedals are. So what I've done off camera, I've got some 5/8 solid bar, and I've cut a piece of flat bar. I think it's, I got my ruler. I don't got my ruler. Yeah, 30 by 6. So, and I've cut it about 65 millimeters long. So what we're planning on doing, we don't want the pedal to float freely when we put the pin in. So we want the pin to retain the pedal, but also we need something to hold this pin in, otherwise this may fall out over duration of time. So what we've got here is a retaining bolt, just a 3/8 UNC cap bolt, and I'll jump on the lathe and I'll turn up a slug with a thread, and this will actually bolt this in and retain it. This will get welded in, and voila, there we go. This pin will be retained and the pedal won't fall out. Okay, so I've got some, I think it's 19 mil solid bar. So I'm just going to clean it all up, and we'll clean the edge up, or the end up, sorry. So I'll center drill it and then drill and tap it in the lathe, and we'll get our height right. So that will be our retainer. We'll center drill it in the lathe, and then we'll drill it our tap size, and I'll start it in the lathe. I won't finish it in the lathe because lathes are brutal when it comes to tapping. May slow the speed down just a little bit. That's that operation. So I'll go over to our drilling and tapping chart. So the drilling and tapping chart, I'll show you. It says for a 3/8 UNC thread to be drilled at 8 millimeters. Interesting. Way more than enough. So now what we need to do is reassemble and get a measurement. I know, how's the walking around in that car? Now, I've purposely only put one of these bushes on because otherwise you're fighting against the bush on the other side plus the pedal, and basically we already know we're going to retain it, and we just want basically something to line us up, screw, and get a height. See how easy that was. So now we want a height about 13 mil. Okay, it's 13.5 mil, so I will cut that in the bandsaw and then I'll trim it up on the lathe. Okay, so this is our little piece. I've cut it in the bandsaw. It's actually quite warm to touch. So we'll get some calipers here and give this a measure up. We want it to be about the 13mm mark. The stupid thing wants the 0. 14.47. Whoa. I'll take a smidgen more of it. It doesn't need a great deal. Done, so I'll go get my 3/8 UNC tap. Now tap 3/8 UNC, and it is pre-dirtied, which is good, eh? Let's clean it then. So what we'll be doing is turning this spindle speed really slow, otherwise you're just going to snap that tap off and got to start again. So this stuff here, which it's worn out, it's magic tap, absolutely brilliant, especially with aluminum. Works really well with aluminum. So there we go. Now we clean this up and we'll put it on there, weld the so we're going to linish off a bit of this rust, otherwise we can't weld to it. match this in a minute, roughly in the middle. I'm going to pilot it and then drill it 3/8, the same as our retaining bolt. Now I'm going to sort of check, I'm not really going to mark it, I'm just going to sort of eyeball the center and bam. That was a bit of a juggling act, but I wasn't putting much pressure, like downward pressure on the drill press, just enough to cut. Nice sharp drill bit, you get away with that. I would not do that with a big or larger drill bit because it's going to want to rip it out of your hand. Drill bit's lost the edge. I'm just going to go one size up. So this is a countersunk, and I'm going to use it as a deburr. Oh, that's warm. Just like so, just to knock the top off. Alrighty. Now I'm going to get a bit more serious with this weld, because if this comes off then the pin's out and you're a cactus. So there we go, a little bit bulky weld, but I'm not too worried. I'll probably run the tap. Oh no, I haven't drilled a hole. I may run a tap through it, I'll see how I go. Right, this is a trap for beginners. All this is mill scale. This dark grey colour you can see. This has been cut, so that's raw steel. You want to get rid of this mill scale. Mill scale is when this gets from a billet, a slab or a bloom, and it goes through and gets rolled into this. All the impurities, because this thing is damn near molten, all the impurities bubble to the top, and that's what mill scale is, because the air is so much cooler than what this is. It boil to the top, and you don't want to weld this shit. You'll actually struggle, sometimes with the MIG, you'll actually struggle to get some decent penetration in there, especially on this parent material. So I'm just going to give it a quick little clean up with the linisher. I don't want to change the height too much, I don't want to pull this apart, so that's just a quick little linish, and then we're ready for welding. Okay, as you can see, the mill scale's come off. Now we can give it a good hit with the MIG. Okay, it's not too neat, I'm not too worried. Helmet. As long as it's going to retain the pin. So I'm going to cool these off and then start assembling. This car is loaded with dirt. It comes from way out west Queensland. And as you can see, every single time I work on the bloody thing, we get saturated in dirt. Like so. So now what I want to do is establish where I want the pedal. So as you can see, I've bent the pedal, no longer straight, and I've made a pedal pad, so he'll get welded on. What I'll do, you can see how that one's concaved or convexed, this one's straight, so I'm just going to do a bit of a measure. Alright, so we'll bend it, see what happens. A bit more on the top. You can even see in the so I'm going to put the larger bit to the bottom. Pedal's made. I've got a rag here. Let me show you what I'm going to do with this sucker. This has got a bit of thinners on it, so you can see we've got respectable penetration, so it's not going to come off. Now, this bit I'm sort of making it as I go. Apparently this is a 3M product. It's basically a tread tape. One grippy brake pedal. Dunk dunk.